All right, Pisces, let's get into a channeled message. Okay, quick thing. There could be some sort of transformation taking place around your life purpose. Some of you could be reevaluating what you feel your life purpose is. Some of you could be getting more aligned with what your life purpose is. There will be some sort of major change around your financial health. Any stagnancy to do with your money, your career, your life purpose right now could be teaching you or helping you find some sense of compassion and some sense of empowerment. So, you know, some of you might not be where you want to be financially. Sorry, I'm about to crisscross applesauce. Some of you might not be where you want to be financially, but in the same sense, it might be setting you up for you to feel really empowered and free from the attachment to money and what it can bring you. There's a lot to be said in the kind of people who don't have everything but still have a lot of joy. I think of the people who go on mission trips and really see cultures that don't have as much. My nail techs are Vietnamese, and we love exchanging stories, and I really love to hear how spoiled we are if you live in the United States. So there could be something here where you're finding that maybe influences in your money or challenges in your money are really helping you gain and find a sense of freedom from things that wouldn't serve you, mindsets that wouldn't serve you, experiences that wouldn't serve you. Now they're showing me the gentleman that runs the YouTube channel Diary of a CEO, and he had someone on the other day where they were having a conversation about remembering the times when they were struggling so much so, and you know, having a hard time figuring out where their next coin was going to come from. You know, how are we going to eat tomorrow? We don't have that figured out yet. And now they're not in that place. And they were talking about how those moments really help them understand that although money does have value, life and experiences and the people and the places and the things that we get to experiences are so much more valuable than a dollar bill. And I do think that there is something here where you're really finding yourself on the journey, either getting to your life purpose, understanding your life purpose, finding your life purpose. It has something to do with your life's purpose, and something here to do with major transformation taking place in your money, but maybe not when you need it to, when you want it to. It might not be the experience that you expected. Maybe it's not happening as quickly as you expected. But transformation is taking place. And this slow movement is helping you reevaluate where you're finding your value, okay? And then having a lot of compassion on that journey. And again, setting you up for some sense of freedom. Not letting things control you, but you understanding that ultimately the person in charge of your life is you. So let's get a card for what you need to know here coming in. Channeled message. I want this reading to be only about Pisces and Pisces only. Please do not bring in any other energies. Pisces energy only. Take a step back and look at this from a different perspective. Let go so you can open yourself to the highest level of love. It's time to find ways to release any worry or unresolved lack of forgiveness. So there could be something where you're needing to see both sides, looking at it from a different perspective. There could be a disagreement that you're having with someone where you're actually more like them than you want to admit, maybe more than you want to acknowledge. Turn your worry into wonder. So some of you have been worrying a lot lately, needing to surrender to this experience. Some of you are going through some sense of a great awakening where you're finally getting to a place where you're walking in your truth and you're standing very firm in what that looks like. Getting to a place where you're trusting yourself, but maybe they're saying, you know, how can you trust yourself more? How can you open yourself up to understanding that it's okay to change your mind, it's okay to see someone else's view, but that doesn't mean that you have to agree with it. But again, if you've had a lot of worry in your environment, they're wanting you to release that and to just surrender to the experience that you're having right now. Because there is recognition, and let's recognize it. You're not where you want to be. Maybe you're not where you thought you would be. You know, maybe you're 40, 50, 60, 70, 25, whatever. And maybe you thought you were going to be in a certain place, or you thought your life was going to look in a certain form, or you thought you were going to be with a certain person. But there is a deep healing that's taking place. And even if you can't recognize it right now, you will be here coming up. I just heard you're going to understand why this needed to happen, but you just can't recognize it right now. There could be a milestone here coming up that you're going to hit. So milestone, what do I mean by that? That could be an accomplishment. That could be graduating something. That could be finally getting something that you've been working on or saving for. Okay, so we have insecurity coming in, needing to push through any insecurity. That could be where that worry is coming from. You could be worrying because it's insecurity. This could have to do with a Cancer. It doesn't have to. We also have be humble come out and think it through. Needing to work through some sense of feelings. So there's a lot of energy of you feeling overwhelmed. Maybe there's going to be a lack energy coming in, an overthinking energy coming in. Make sure you're making time for self-love. Make sure you're making time for the things that make you feel really passionate, alive, inspirational, inspired is what I meant to say. There could be an action that you're wanting to take. This could be around a Gemini, a Leo, or a Cancer. This could have to do with you pushing a dream into some sense of reality. You're needing to make sure you're thinking this through. So maybe this is going back to school. Maybe this is finally taking that leap towards that person that you want to be with. Whatever the action is, make sure that you're thinking it through, okay? Make sure that you're looking at it from all different perspectives. Am I wasting my time? If I feel like I'm wasting my time, is that a fear? Or is that me being practical and logical and saying, hey, it doesn't make sense to put your ducks in this pond. Why? Because the pond's dry. So, I mean, it's really talking to yourself like an older sister, older brother. And you could have a lot of maybe anger come up, hard feelings, maybe even feelings that are hard for you to acknowledge, deal with, handle, conquer. You could even be keeping a lot to yourself right now. Maybe it's things that you've recognized, things that are taking place. But I am seeing a very like hermit energy coming from you. A lot of you, if you bond with animals, if you have animals, you're going to find here in the near coming up future that you're going to get your fulfillment from animals. I keep seeing a dog, a cat, like an animal where you're going to feel like it's nice to be around something that can't judge me, that can't talk back, that can't criticize, that just has that unconditional love. Yeah, so there's something here where you're needing to take action, okay? But again, make sure you're thinking your action through and make sure you're not worrying too much. Conclusions are within reach. Ask, what does this conclusion look like? And it said, look at the bigger picture. So you're needing to look at the bigger picture. This could have to do with Sagittarius. There could be something here that you're trying to release or let go of where you're actually letting pride get in the way and you're needing to think something through. You're needing to make sure that you're looking at it from all sides, not just your side. You're needing to make sure that you're not bringing insecurity to the table. Okay, so this could be you wanting to quit a job. This could be you wanting to leave a connection. This could be you saying, you know what, I'm tired of dealing with this friend because you get on my nerves. But in reality, you're needing to think it through and be humble, because there could be some sense of insecurity coming up that's making you want to act in a certain way that is technically a weakness, not a strength, but you might not see that until you added a circumstance of the situation. You see what I'm saying? And that's why you need to see both sides, because you could be worrying, you could be overanalyzing, you could be overthinking. There will be a lot of things reaching a conclusion, but you need to make sure that you're looking at the bigger picture and not just necessarily the now. Because there could be things where you've made your mind up that are actually going to make you second guess in the future. What I'm hearing is that there could be some choices you've made that were emotionally charged that you might not make the same in the future. So it's like you might be going around making emotionally charged decisions and actions, and then you might be like, ooh, probably shouldn't have did that. Like, so make sure you're looking at the bigger picture. For some of you, this does have something to do with love. So this could be you deciding to randomly get married. Y'all wake up, person looks at you, hey, you want to get married today? And you're like, yeah, sure, YOLO. But then the next day you might regret it. You might be like, ooh, I didn't take into consideration that we should have done this first, and we should have done this first, and we needed to take care of this first. So needing to make sure that you're thinking things through. Somebody could be seeing roses, going to like a rose patch. They're showing me like a sunflower patch, but with roses. I didn't even know that that was a thing. Okay, what's your current moment? Yeah, making sure you're listening to your intuition around new beginnings. What did I just say? Around new beginnings, truth, clarity, new beginning, drawing a line in the sand and saying, this is what I want, this is what I'm willing to sacrifice and what I'm not. Are you in or are you out? Give me more for this new beginning and you listening to your intuition. Okay, so there could be something here where you've been blocking action. There could be a choice, a decision that you're needing to make where you need to actually make it, but there's been a little bit of procrastination. You've been kind of putting it off. It's like, I know I need to do that. I'll do it tomorrow. I know I need to take action. I'll do that tomorrow. That's you. You need to make a head over heart decision and you need to take some sort of action. Your intuition is telling you that you need to do this, okay? And it could have something to do around emotional fulfillment and divine timing. So what this is telling me is it's time. It's time. It's your time to shine. It's your time to do it. It's your time to succeed. It's your time for you to get it. But you got to take that action. And you're feeling called to take that action because you feel like this would be something that would fulfill you emotionally. But if you're not careful, you're going to maybe overthink it and even let insecurity get in the way and worry too much. So don't do that. Take that worry and turn it into wonder. What do they mean by that? So where you're worried, where you're anxious, use that as fuel to the passion to explore it. Okay, why am I so worried? Is it because this is something new? Or is it because I'm trying to protect myself from what could potentially happen? Now, as humans, we do have the tendency to try to protect ourselves from things that we think will harm us. But in the same sense, we can protect ourselves from things that would be amazing. So it's kind of a double-edged sword. You have to ask yourself, am I willing to kind of go all in and it possibly fail or it fly? So what is the influence right now for this kind of way of thinking? Yeah, there could be something here. Okay, so you could have first thing I thought of was you could have a lesson here that you're still needing to learn when it comes to sabotaging. You could have the tendency to sneak away, to overthink, to overanalyze, to maybe even lie to yourself. There could definitely be a lesson attached in the fact that you tend to get in your own way when it comes to worrying too much, overthinking, being a little insecure. You know, maybe you don't like changes. There could be something here where there's major changes and transformation, and maybe there's parts of you that's going to have to come out that you don't really want to bring forth yet. Maybe this is some sense of determination. Maybe you're at a place where you're like, okay, but when I start that, I'm going to have to give one of my free days off of work to do that, and I'm tired. I need to be resting right now, so that's the reason I keep putting it off. That's valid, but in the same sense, you could be still learning a lesson in the fact that, yeah, that's true, but it's also an excuse. So let's just Let's just acknowledge that, okay? And that could be your insecurity. Maybe you're scared of it failing. Maybe you're scared of lying to yourself and putting yourself in something where you're like, oh, you fool, you knew better. You knew that was going to fail. So there is something here that you're learning. I also think you're just learning more about yourself. What is your challenge at this moment? Getting to maybe a place of peace so you can conquer this. Maybe there's some sense of peace that you're wanting to feel that you haven't felt yet, which is the reason why you haven't taken some sort of action and you're worried. Yeah, and it has something here about investments. So I do think there's a little bit of like you feeling pulled to do something, to take action, to make it happen. But there is also a little bit of a question of how am I going to get to a place of steady ground, peace, in that connection, in that job. Yeah, I got to leave this job so then I can go do this, but that's going to kind of bring up my life a little bit. My bills are going to go kind of chaotic, which is the reason I've been putting it off, and that's the reason I ain't done it yet. So there is, again, a little bit of over-questioning, over-analyzing, but also needing to recognize something's pulling you to it for a reason. There is a very... I'm seeing the girl off of Hocus Pocus that sings and brings the children in. So something is pulling you to it. Are you going to answer the call? Or are you going to continue to try to get to a place where it feels right? It feels calm. It feels peaceful. We've got it figured out. Okay? Something here about making the choice to go in when it has to do with investments. There could be some regrets that you have. You know, there could be some things that kind of that have the tendency to pop up in your mind when you think about doing that. Whether it's a failed relationship, a failed job, a failed path. It's kind of like, yeah, well, you could fly, but do you remember that time that you did this and you really regret it? And you might not speak it, but emotionally, you know it's hard for you to think about that moment because you fucked up. Like that is kind of your energy. It's like, although you are a cheerleader for yourself, you're also the person who's like, okay, but be realistic now. Hold on a second now. Or do you think this is a good idea? Well, do you remember the last time you thought this was a good idea? So it's kind of like you have a devil and an angel on the shoulder and they're kind of fighting and you need to just trust yourself. You need to trust yourself. You're feeling called to do this for a reason, okay? You're feeling called to do this for a reason. I don't know what it is, but you are. So give you some advice. What should you do? 10 of Pentacles. It's time for you to go after something. I'm telling you, this could have something to do with financial security. Yeah, celebration, happiness, joy. This could be you guys reuniting and getting to a place of peace with family members, maybe people you don't trust. What did I just say? Communication about new emotional experiences. So whatever this is, you are going to experience new... I feel like I sound like a broken record. You're about to experience new emotional experiences, but you have to ask yourself whether or not you want this happiness, this celebration, and a reunion, if that's what this is in your life, okay? You could take 4 weeks, 4 months, or 4 years to rest, to heal. It could also take 4 weeks, 4 months, 4 years before you make the final choice to go after this. But I do see something here where it's like, if it's a career, as you learn, as you do this, as you throw yourself into this, you're going to love it more. You're then going to ask yourself, why did I not quit that sooner? Why did I not do this sooner? Like, again, if this is career, I'm sorry, my nose is itching all of a sudden. If this is career, it's like, it's going to not only bring financial security and abundance, it's going to bring good times. It's going to bring you being able to help family and friends, you being able to rent those boats so you guys can go out and chill like these rich people. Like, I mean, it's going to be a life where you're going to be like, whoa, I'm really glad I put it into my insecurity and I didn't get in my own way. I'm glad I learned that lesson, but boy, was that lesson hard. It's like you have to get to a place where you're willing to bet on yourself against all odds, against all opinions, against it all. And that's why you have to take a step back and look at the bigger picture, because I do think you could be overanalyzing it. And there's a fine line between thinking it through and overanalyzing. And again, this could be letting someone in. This could be going after something new. But ultimately, they're telling you to do it. They're telling you to quit worrying about what might happen, what could happen. all of that and just and do it. Again, this could have something to do with you learning something, getting to know someone on a deeper level, or learning something on a deeper level. Yeah. See, taking a leap, taking a risk. Having an inquisitive energy, but not having too much of an inquisitive energy where you talk yourself out of it. So you're not going to take the leap or the risk very quickly. You're going to be very strategic. You're going to be smart. You're going to be calculated, but you're going to be determined. You're not going to give up, okay? You could be really conflicted with inside of yourself. There could even be people who are going to try to block you from this, okay? Now, if these are people externally to you, there could be some sort of beef, drama, conflict, argument, some sort of blockage that was taking place. There will be some sort of an apology for this to be healed. I don't see you necessarily opening yourself up to communication right off the bat. So if someone reaches out to you and says, hey, listen, I wanted to say I'm sorry, I wanted to fix this, I wanted to heal this, I think you're going to leave them on red because you're not really going to have too much of an inquisitive energy right off the bat. You're going to be like, and then you're going to kind of keep it pushing and then reevaluate the text message and text back later. Again, not taking some sort of quick action, but I do see you being determined and saying, should I keep fighting for this? Should I keep giving this my energy? What does that look like for me? Again, and that could be the reason why you're needing to look at the bigger picture, depending upon what this is for you. Now, if this is a career, it's saying, hey, look at the bigger picture. Are you wanting to just work the 9 to 5 and meet the bare minimum, pay your bills? Or do you want something that's really fulfilling? What kind of life do you want? We're not going to tell you what's right for you, what's not. But in the same sense, you have to ask yourself, am I holding myself back because I'm insecure and I don't want to take a leap? Or am I here because this is where I want to be? And maybe there's an inquisitive energy you've been pushing off because you don't really want to take a leap or a risk because it's that. It's risky. If I take a leap, I can fall flat on my face. I could fail. You could, but you could fly. And 9 times out of 10, when we think that we're going to fail, it's insecurity. And when we do fail, it teaches us something. Whether it's a failed relationship, a failed career, a failed business, a failed friendship, it teaches us something. It teaches us something about other people. It can also teach us something about ourselves, which I would say is an asset, no matter which way we look at it. So, I know I said don't bring up anybody, but I just want to make a side note. There could be someone that's wanting to bring you some sort of new romantic beginning, whether this is renewing vows, getting married, asking you out on a date, taking it to the next level. There could be someone that hasn't spoken truth yet, but they've been feeling very called and very pulled to have some sense of investment with you. I do think that this person is feeling really insecure right now, and I think they're worried, but I do see them communicating with you about some sort of leap, okay? And there could be something here where this person's finally putting a ending to something that they needed to learn. So that could be them finally ending something, or them finally recognizing the lesson and them getting to a place where they can emotionally let it go. So for each of you, that's going to look different. I don't want to get too much into that because I said no other people, but I just want to throw that out there. Okay, I'm going to leave this here. Have a blessed day.